Eric Cantor, great to see you. Leader, you know who we have on later in the show. We got this other leader's lead. That I've heard that you're kind of siders. I know that, but we got Steny on later, the former leader. So say some stuff that we can put into little sound bites that we can play for Steny. So just keep that in mind that we may be doing that a little later. We just had Bob Wolf on, who said, let them go, let the Bush tax cuts expire or not expire for 98%, and that's what we should do, and we can get that done. And I told him, no, they're not going to do it. Why not let them all be extended during, with unemployment so high? And he goes, no, that can't get done either. He just told me, in his view, and Bob Wolf, obviously, he's not a politician, but here we are. Neither side is going to be able to do anything here, right?
Well, I mean, it comes down to the question, if you want to put a priority on economic recovery and jobs and growth, you ought not be raising taxes. You either want higher taxes or higher growth. I mean, that's the bottom line. And this insistence that somehow it's just not fair that somebody's not paying enough taxes right now, I think for some is a priority. I think for me and for most of us on the Republican side of the aisle, the priority is jobs. And we've got to win the war on jobs globally, and we've got to get people back to work here at home. And we saw that Ernst & Young put out a study a couple weeks ago and said that the president's plan, the one that Steny Hoyer supports, will cost the economy over 700,000 jobs. Again, if we're interested in jobs, let's not be raising taxes right now. And the president's proposal, if you look at it, what it does is it says that 50% of the people that the tax hike applies to are folks that get at least 25% of their income from small businesses, which means you're taxing the very people that we want to go out and invest to create jobs. And so it just doesn't make sense. It's counterintuitive to me that anybody would say that.
Leader, all right, so I'm not real optimistic about anything between now and November, obviously. Now I have a vision of the new Senate. I don't know what it's going to be necessarily, but I see Patty Murray and this guy Ted Cruz the Senate's going to turn into the House the way things are going. And that doesn't mean the election's going to solve anything. Eric, we're so far apart. How is this going to finally work itself out? You saw Patty Murray. You saw what she wants to do. She wants the whole fiscal cliff is what the Republicans, the whole country needs to go down in flames just to stick it to the Republicans.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Joe. The House has acted. We have gone about every week putting solutions on the table past the bills. It may actually help a little bit if the Senate could start producing something out of the morass over there. As you indicate, there are a lot of people in the Senate right now who would like to just bring the whole economy and shove it off the cliff. We don't believe that that is something that's helpful. We believe we can work our way back and start the economic engine in this country again. We've got the talent. We understand that there are more ideas in this country than anywhere else in the world. We've got the capital base. We ought to be focused on how we restart the engine and generate the job growth and get about the investments that this country knows how to do in the private sector. In order to do that, we've got to take away the uncertainty in Washington that starts with tackling the fiscal issues and getting the entitlements under control, is reeling back this overreach on the regulatory side by putting some balance back into the equation. We need to make sure that our agencies take into consideration job growth when they act in a regulatory manner.
Leader, to be fair, when we look at what's happened in the Senate or what has not happened in the Senate, it is Senator Coburn, who is an Oklahoma Republican, who is blocking or threatening to block that panel vote. So it's not necessarily the Senate Democrats who are at fault here. This is a blocked panel vote that's coming from Senator Coburn.
Well, Becky, the Senate was set up to not move as quickly. It is set up to really have a 60-vote threshold, which neither party has, and so it will move a lot slower. But it really is incumbent upon, I think, the members of the Senate to come together in a way that, frankly, could help and be productive. I mean, nobody's going to get everything they want, but at least we could say, let's focus on job growth. And that's the difference, and that's the problem with the Senate tax plan they just passed versus what we did in the House yesterday and what we'll do today on the floor. Chairman Camp of the Ways and Means Committee is bringing forward a bill that will lay out a procedure for the tax reform that we insisted upon yesterday in our bill.
Romney's campaign, I'm reading, is adding more staff to work with the candidate's eventual vice presidential choice, an indication that it's drawing nearer. Is that true? Do you know anything? You see the stuff about your friend Paul Ryan? How he might be the wild card pick, so that we don't pick he doesn't pick someone boring.
I have no idea. I've always said Paul would be a great pick.
And you have no idea? You hearing anything? No?
I have no idea.
About when it's going to be?
I have no idea of that either. I know that Governor Romney is going to be the candidate that will win this election. And I believe strongly he's the only one out there with an economic plan. Glenn Hubbard is in the Wall Street Journal today with a fantastic piece that talks about the difference between the Obama record, which is full of stimulus, a myriad of housing programs, Dodd-Frank, Obamacare, regulatory reach, versus what Mitt Romney is proposing. Mitt Romney is proposing to get a hold of the entitlements and the spending problem, to ignite a pro-growth tax reform policy, get the regulatory reach under control here in Washington.
Leader Cantor, thanks. And, you know, we got plenty to work with now for Leader Hoyer when he comes on. Good to see you today. Thanks. Coming up, as I said, at 8:40, we're going to hear from the other side on the tax tussle with House Minority